couple of powerful sets of forwards, a home side that's bursting for a return to winning ways, and a visiting team that is brim-full of confidence. So 3 Sharks lining up for England at Twickenham tomorrow. Tom Curry, Johnny Hill, Manu Tuilagi, but they had 3 others sent back to them by Eddie Jones in Rod Quirk and Roebuck. In the centres, once again, it's Sam Hill performing that Tuilagi role at 12 alongside Sam James. Rob Dupree continuing at 10. And straight from the England camp into the starting 15, Tom Roebuck, impressive this season on the wing, especially aerially. Up front, Ross Harrison at loose head. Si McIntyre's injured, Bevan Rodd released, but on the bench. And Ben Curry has recovered from his ankle issue. He'll make a 100th appearance for the club, and he'll hold on to the captain's armband as well. Now, Gloucester have lost a lot of backs to the internationals. Hastings and Harris on Scotland duty against Fiji today, so Lloyd Evans takes the tiller at fly half, switching from full-back. He has Billy Twelvetrees for company outside him, a first start of the season, and the youngster Jack Reeves will make his first Premiership start at 13. The back 3 entirely changed from last Friday. No Carreras or Reece Zammit, of course. The pack is left intact, though. Santi Socino, surplus to Puma requirements, so able to take his place at hooker. A word as well for another of the players from Worcester to have found a new home. Alex Hurl will hope to make his cherry and white debut from the bench.
The standout head-to-head for me. Look at when you come to Sale, it has to be a physical encounter. You know it's going to be the 2 number 4s. Sale really missed Jean-Luc Dupree against Saracens last week. He gives them so much around the field in terms of that physicality. And Gloucester and Freddie Clark have someone who's starting to creep into the same sort of bracket as his opposite number.
Yeah, we mentioned in the build-up about young guys stepping forward. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Moyle these packs around, because the packs look relatively well marshalled. So it's all going to be about territory and possession.
They look well marshalled, look well matched, don't they, this afternoon? Sharks off the back of that disappointment at the StoneX, recognising that they really do need this one. Gloucester waiting, been flying this season, 5th in the table, but with a couple of games in hand as well in the league over the top 3. They've only lost the 1 game this season, the Cherry and Whites, and that by just 2 points away at Saracens. They are coming off the back of that record win over Exeter last Friday night. Brilliant try for Lewis Ludlow. Great celebrations as well in front of the shed. But this is a club in rude health at the moment. I guess the only snag as far as today goes for them, their much disrupted backline, which is really bearing no resemblance to the last few weeks on account of international call-ups. Good to see the travelling supports, despite travel disruptions and all. So some inexperience today. Jack Reeves making his first Premiership start at the age of 22. And some older heads out there as well. Billy Twelvetrees, who has found himself just on the outside looking in more often than not. Mark Atkinson and Georgi Kveseladze have taken that space in the midfield. Sale having stormed the start of the season, 5 from 5 they were in those early weeks. But their train rather hit the buffers in the last couple of weeks, undone by a clever Quins performance here, and then unpicked by Alex Good and Saracens last weekend. They do need this. So the 2 sides lining up on that 15-metre line as at Franklin's Gardens last night. A little moment of reflection ahead of Remembrance Sunday next weekend to remember the fallen. Referee today is Andrew Jackson. His first Premiership game of the season. Wayne Fowler and John Meredith running the lines. Rowan Kitt, our television match official this afternoon. And the match ball today being delivered by Trooper Will Haddon of the Royal Lancers.
Thanks, mate. John, you got me here? City, have you got me? Got you, mate. Beautiful. Thank you.
So here we go then.
All good.
A look of grim determination etched on the face of the Gloucester skipper. No more than 6 points between these two in the last 7 fixtures. Will we see the same play out today in testing conditions? The surface is very wet. There's been a fair amount of rain around. Sale playing from right to left, obviously, in this first half, and we're underway thanks to Rob du Preez. Taken in by Rowan Ackerman, try scorer in his last couple of matches.
He dropped that, didn't he?
He rolled backwards, though.
And that's loose. And the first indications that maybe the conditions will be an important factor today. Fished out by Curry for Shonert, and Sale are able to set up camp inside the Gloucester 22 nice and early. Du Preez feeding his brother on the inside channel, but that's gone loose, and straight away
Use that, Reds.
that indicator that it's going to be hard to cling on to the ball at times today. Special care and attention is going to be required. This is Roebuck, lovely little side step to get him out of immediate trouble. Released by England, he played a part in the training camp ahead of the autumn internationals. Sam Hill feeds Beaumont. Goes to ground on halfway. Wall, du Preez to Reed. Buffeted in the tackle by Reeves. Now Wall wants it, but Gloucester are making life difficult at ruck time. There he has it now. Shonert again. Tackled by Balmain. With no great progress through the phases. Up she goes from Rob du Preez. And a tricky one in the deep. It's been lost. And it's gone forwards from Moyle, and Sale will profit. They'll have the scrum on the outskirts of the 22.
We were talking about Sale's defence before the game and how good it was in the early stage of the season. This is very similar. Gloucester very tight and then just drifting well. So they're just trying to block off any options in midfield for Sale Sharks, trying to take those big runners away, and then once they've got that line speed, they hard drift out to the outside.
First scrum of the game, and no doubt there'll be some testing balls sent up into that cherry and white back three. The unfamiliarity of it. Moyle, Morris and Seabrook paired up. Away from Wall. Hill. Du Preez are on the loop, and they can try to work these numbers. Carpenter banged over by Seabrook. Little tip on from Ross to du Preez. Dan du Preez. Quick enough ball for War to work with. Rob du Preez again to Shonert, who's popping up on the carry everywhere. Now with a penalty advantage. And du Preez tries to thread it through. It winds up with Josh Beaumont. Now the crossfield kick, looking to pick out Carpenter. Oh, he's picked out Carpenter. Inch perfect. Accuracy and execution. And the pair of them working beautifully in tandem.
We said about Sale increasing their speed and intensity in getting the ball away from the breakdown. Every phase there, War was going hunting, harrying his forwards for the ball, and it narrowed up Gloucester's defence. Seabrook a little bit disappointed with how he's done there, but it's a really difficult kick for him. He's had to backtrack to it because the rest of his defensive line's narrow, and the ball's just dropped where he thinks it's going to be on his head. Just gets it slightly wrong, but blindsided from the outside. Lovely line, and a simple finish.
Another score for Joe Carpenter, scored against the Chiefs, against London Irish and against Saracens last month and beginning November, where he left off in October.
What's the picture your side when you come out scrum?
Top of the shop to this point, Rob Dupree in the Premiership. So very grateful for his versatility, particularly in the absence of George Ford up until Christmas. And he's drilled that through. 7 points up, Sale.
Yeah, you said it, Ben, and you did, Ali. You said it was a pin, you know, an accurate kick. It wasn't actually that good a kick. It's just a bit of a floater. It doesn't go toe over toe. So as it gets to the end of the flight here, it confuses Seabrook and he loses it on the last 5 metres. He was in exactly the right position. He thought it was going to dip to him, but as you can see, he's surprised by the last 2 metres of the flight to the ball. Goes over the top of him. Carpenter's very grateful and goes over. The winger, as Ben said, could have done better there.
We just pinpointed this area for Gloucester. That's not gone 10, so the error's just compounded here. And so much of what Gloucester have built, Ben, has been on consistency of selection. They've been able to do that through the opening weeks of the Premiership, of course, but here Kyle Moyle with his first Premiership start of the season, same for Tom Seabrook and for Jake Morris. It's not just the fact that they haven't been playing a huge amount of top-flight rugby to this point, it's the fact they haven't been playing together either.
Yeah, 100%, but that's where I think the coaching becomes really important in the period before November, when they're trying, they know that they're going to lose players, so they have to be in training, getting those guys working together, and the way they play, the game plan, all has to suit everyone within the squad. So seamlessly, when you lose a couple of guys, a new combination can slot in and do exactly the same job.
Scrum ball for War. James using Reed, backing his pace on the outside, but he dives back infield to skip past Seabrook. Tip on from Ross to Curry. Gloucester there to read that one. Harrison, Dupree, Carpenter draws the man nicely, but Tommy Taylor has to check his run. Tackled by 12 Trees. Beaumont, bruising run, and the offload's good as well. Jean-Luc Dupree is on the shoulder, and once again they're knocking on the door of that 22. War to the short side. Driven onwards by Hill. Beaumont, impressive in the carry to this point.
Just slowed down again, hasn't it? Just when the carry goes well and they get in behind.
Once again, looking for territory as a clever option at that point. They weren't really making a great deal of headway after the initial burst.
It's quite an easy decision, isn't it? If the ball gets that slow, why mess around? Why give the defence the advantage? But it was just really good in terms of the selection of options. On that story about the conversation about the young lads, you look at the difference. This period of rugby now is about actually moving yourself out of that bracket. How you're categorised as, you know, the likes of Seabrook, the likes of Morris, the likes of Reeves, and you become Chapman. Chapman was in that group, but now he's not. He's seen as probably a senior player now in a lot of ways. So it's about yourself stepping up and going to the next level.
Gloucester securing the ball 5 metres out, and here is Chapman. Starter last week. And they got options there, of course, with Meehan. This is Roebuck again, getting past that first defender and the second. And just sliding up on the challenge there, Ludlow, giving up the penalty and allowing the Sharks to float it wide. Dupree. Sam James on the outside. Dupree. Flamboyant, but Reed overrunning it. Back we go.
Bar that last offload, Sale have started fantastically well. Exactly what Alex Sanderson, all the points that weren't quite there against Saracens last week, although they did start reasonably well against Saracens, are just being fixed. That speed of delivery off the floor was all over the place in trying to get that speed up, and then they're holding off the Gloucester defensive line, able to go round them, exploit that space that's being left on the outside by the good carrying initially.
There's a lot of frustration in Sharks ranks last weekend, because I think They really felt like they'd given Sarries a proper rattle in the opening 20 and then just didn't capitalise on the chances they had.
And there was 3 decisions that went against them that were wrong actually in the last 20, so they probably felt aggrieved about that. But look, that's last week. They've got to improve, and so far, as Ben said, they definitely have.
Here's Taylor, up goes Beaumont, and the drive is on, and the drive is meaty. Tommy Taylor has it.
That's one
First start for a year for him last week. Looking to cash in here from close range. Slow but incremental progress here. They're over the line and they've got it. Taylor for Sale, 2 for the day.
That's a brilliant finish. We mentioned Gloucester and their driving capabilities. Sale absolutely in the same boat. And it's all made by the work of Dan Duprier at the front. When it's stationary, just watch. He'll be on the other side of this drive. You might not see it there, but that's his. There, number 8. Just watch his knees drop. It's stationary. He gets that going forward. It's all going through him. He's the fulcrum. Again, it gets stationary. He's trying to lower his height, and then he keeps about 4 Gloucester players held in, which means they can just swing round to the right-hand side. And once they lose those bodies, they just drive straight through. Try scored. Really, really well worked try at the Maul.
Two more added by Rob Duprier. Sale with the ideal platform. Scored by Taylor, but that man pivotal, as is his brother, of course, to proceedings. The two that have signed new contracts with the Sale Sharks and somehow deemed surplus to Springbok requirements as well as they take on Ireland.
Well, that's ideal for Alex Sanderson, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure they would have had to work quite hard to keep them. There'd be a lot of DORs around the country that wouldn't mind having those two in their ranks.
Reeves feeding Morgan, dropping into the tackle of Curry. Carried up now by Cam Jordan. First Premiership start for him a week ago, making good headway in the second row for Gloucester. Now with a penalty here, the cherry and whites.
Yeah, you've got to get out so that they can get on the ball.
Just want to settle things down here. Gloucester been really under the cosh for the first 12 minutes. A big kick from this guy would help them enormously. Gets them into the red zone, quite deep in. Boost his forwards. That's not bad.
It's pretty decent. Just to give his side a lift and give them meaningful field position. Lloyd Evans, who was at fullback a week ago, no Adam Hastings, of course, on duty for the Scots against Fiji today, alongside Chris Harris.
Freddie Clark just moving himself at the back there so he can walk in with a bit of tempo and make the call.
And up goes Ludlow, and Gloucester reverting to type, trying to get this drive moving. Sale doing a pretty good job in the first instance, but now the secondary surge comes on, and Gloucester through with Cecino again. Prolific this season. That's now 5 in the campaign, and Gloucester going back to basics and getting it done.
That is so important psychologically for Gloucester. Nothing gone their way so far in the game. First attack, they go to that driving maul. And you just see on that far side, you'll see a couple of Sale players get spun out as they're moving forward. Nick Shona facing the wrong way now with Duprier, and they go through that hole initially, get a bit of momentum, and as they re-enter, it just all opens up in front of Cecino. And he accelerates through. Really nice play there, dropping his height. Cam Jordan just dropping down, taking a couple of bodies with him and opening up a hole for Cecino to go through.
Talk about the Dupreers not being required by South Africa. Sasina not required by the Pumas for tomorrow's appointment at Twickenham. Played in the Rugby Championship through the summer. Gloucester delighted to be able to call upon him.
Oh dear. He's spooned that a bit, hasn't he? I suppose it's a luxury, Ben, isn't it? When you're in that maul and you're 6-7 metres out, you're relatively high because you don't want to lose your feet. The closer you feel the line, you can drop your height. You know you've got the luxury, you can go to ground then, and then it picks up momentum. It's very difficult to stop.
Yeah, and obviously the lifters at the front that tend to set the initial height, they have had to be on their tiptoes lifting. So it's very difficult to drop that height quicker than the opposition. But when you get some sort of spin, as we saw there from Gloucester, the next people coming round can drop the height considerably, and then you'll tend to get a little bit of a race through any weak defenders.
Right out.
Carpenter underneath this. And Seabrook first to arrive for Gloucester. War to the short side. Numbers here with Reed and Taylor. And he's well held by Freddie Clark and dealt with Harrison. Kept ahead of Bevan Rodd today on account of Rodd's activities with England. That's loose from Hill and picked up by Carpenter.
Certainly a penalty.
Well worth looking at that because there's a line break on the outside. I think they need to look at that. If this ball goes to the outside, there's a defender there, I suppose, but there's no effort to catch it, is there? Good kick as well. That's a couple now into that corner, isn't it, from Dupreer, forcing Gloucester back. I hope it's not a whole game of just driving mauls. I know Ben loves them, but a long drive for 8 driving maul tries.
Like the odd one, Austin. Tend to create a bit of space elsewhere as well. Might look to go through Ruan Ackerman here. You wouldn't usually, but he's had to hobble back into that line out a little bit. Worse for wear from the last contact.
Sam James's kick has put them in pole position here, and Rob Dupreer attacks the line and leaves it late. Roebuck buffeted in the tackle by Seabrook. Out it comes for Hill, or maybe that didn't need to go. The ball has been picked up by Evans, and Gloucester are back in business inside their 22.
Still under pressure. Release now. Thanks, Ben. Use that now. Shush. Anti's over.
Chapman does the necessary, but he picks out Sam James, who thinks about opening it and then straightens and then loses it in contact, and it's Gloucester ball.
Come off the ball. Always on the ball.
That was close.
I'm not sure about that for Sashino.
Neither am I, but talk about Chris Harris not being here, but this is great defence. Brilliant defence. That ball needs to go across Roebuck.
See the importance of winning that collision. If they get the quick speed there, how difficult it is for Gloucester off the back of this to recover. It's a brilliant tackle, but having placed the ball, you can see Gloucester all having to come around the corner and almost run backwards.
Just time off them, Mike, please.
But let's have a look at that penalty. We'll see whether Sasino does release on the floor or not. Yeah, clear release for me. Nothing wrong with that. That's a really harsh one against the hooker.
Certainly within range. John O'Ross receiving some treatment at the moment. Came in off the bench to start late last week with Jean-Luc Dupreer unavailable.
Okay, time on.
is on target. 17 points to 5, almost going at a point a minute, the Sale Sharks. Let's have a word with Tim Taylor, who is part of the coaching setup with Gloucester, of course. Tim, we've spoken about the disruption to your back line. Do you think that's having a significant impact on the game to this point?
Not so much at the moment. I mean, the boys that are in, we have full faith in them, and they've been training really hard away, and they haven't had much game time. But we just think we've had a few errors down in our own 22 and struggled to get out of there. But once we got a bit of field position there, we went well in them all.
So the message is just play a little bit more rugby in the right area of the field. At the moment, you've just been struggling for that field position, haven't you?
Yeah, and we just haven't really had the ball yet. So it's important when we do get it, we stick to our game plan, play in the right areas because it is greasy out there, and we just get a bit of control into the game.
Tim, thanks for your time.
Thank you, mate.
Back inside the 22 here. Gloucester, the kick charge down and a fortunate ricochet, and Moyle is trying to make the most of that. He's got the beating of Ross Harrison, chips ahead, and Carpenter, well, that's very loose. It may even have gone forwards as well.
It's a mile forward.
Yeah, it felt that way. Sale come tearing forwards through James, and they've got a 2-on-1 here, and that's a straightforward one for the skipper. Ben Curry goes under the posts, and I wonder if that pass will be checked from Carpenter in the first instance.
They'll have to check the pass, but Curry's line is superb. Well, we're hearing from the referee's assistant, he thinks it's flat. Oh no, it's this one.
There's two they've got to look at. This is the first one. I mean, that's... I don't know, actually. Probably need to see that from a different angle.
That's a great ball.
That's a brilliant pass. And then the ball back on the inside is the other one they need to look at. Is that forward? That's close. Probably get away with that one. But the one before looked close. And I'm not wishing to be a downer on Sale, but after the chip kick goes in, Seabrook gets tackled after he's kicked it. There's a lot going on for the officials to look at. Was it Moyle that made the break initially? As Moyle chipped over, he got tackled after he kicked it.
Brilliant line from him, though. That support play, just making it, rather than a 3-on-2, makes it a 4-on-2, but with an inside option. That's the one that did look a bit dodgy, but
that's forward.
I don't think it is. The line's on the pitch. I didn't think that was.
I think it is.
Really nice run up the line from James there to link up with Curry.
The other thing to look at as well, like we said, when Moyle puts the chip kick in, he's then tackled after he's kicked it. A lot of things went against Gloucester there.
Quite a lot going on, isn't there? Anyway, Sale will look at the scoreboard and feel very happy that they've got this 19-point buffer. And they've now got an advantage here as well as the maul is brought down. Dupree, Carpenter.
Second time they've played from this deep. Last time, kick came in from War, which gave them that field position. That's a big collision.
A terrific job done by Carpenter, just bouncing Reeves out of the way, and now they're...
That's a penalty.
Working it forwards, he's in front of the man.
No, he's got to come back for the penalty there. War puts a kick in, then he's tackled after he kicks it. He sees the gap really late, War. This is a big collision, isn't it?
Doesn't he do well there? Keep his feet.
And the gap really opens up for War. And as he goes through, he puts a little dink in.
Before the tackle.
Dink in, and he's tackled. That's a penalty.
Keep a mark on that, please.
Dupree goes deep. He's not found touch.
Thank you.
Instead, there's Moyle.
Stand still out of the 10.
And he'll have the ball back. Sale 10. Carpenter. Chasing this himself. Just drifting inside the 22, and Seabrook calls for the mark.
Keep going, keep going.
Saw War smiling. He is loving this game, isn't he? He's loving the tempo and the pace. The platform his forwards are giving him to make the decision whether it's just that speed of ball into Rob Dupree's hands or whether he can have a little snipe himself.
Started 6 of the 8 games this season, Gus War. The plucky little sod, as Alex Sanderson described him. Dupree, lying deepish.
Just too far, about a metre.
Yeah. Same outcome.
Shame, it was a really good line-out ball. just that variation that Sale have.
Make sure we stay inside, yeah?
I still don't get that tactic though. You win a really good ball off the top, land, you've now got all your back guys in position.
Yeah.
You've got loads of space because of the catch and give, and you kick the ball away. It's just that effect of the catch and give on Cam Jordan there. He's trying to fly through and get to the 9. He has to stop and backtrack, and as he's going backwards, the ball comes out to 9, and absolutely no pressure on them. They don't do well enough with the kick.
Come in a bit. Perfect. You want in them?
Sale arriving a little late to the line out. It's Dupree at the tail.
Defender once.
Up come the Gloucester back division, because that's not going anywhere for the Sharks. War to Hill, holds it back for Dupree, and now potentially some width. Did well to get that away, James, but this referee says that pass was forwards. I just wonder, I mean, that seemed very odd to me. That was one that, as the impact came from the tackle, the ball was released, and maybe because he was being shunted at the point of
exactly.
the ball being passed.
That's a nice little move, isn't it? They get to the corner quite easily.
There's nothing wrong with that pass, surely.
At all.
So what's he called this for? The forward.
Let's get the place.
Gloucester very fortunate there.
Yeah, there's been, look, it's his first game. There's been a few little teething issues. Andrew Jackson, so hopefully he irons them out. It's not just him, it's a 4-man team. I think you just need to up the game.
An early shove from the Sharks, and Gloucester switching the point of attack. Evans comes back to the shorter side. It's threaded forwards, and big old chase on here. And a lovely collection gather. What a brilliant chase that was. Morris has got the touchdown, and Gloucester are celebrating. Speed of thought was good initially. The chase was outstanding, and the balance and the necessary wherewithal to get it down.
Training ground move here. Pre-call that if they get the opportunity off that scrum to come round the blind side, look at the pace. I know there's a slip in that outside channel, but
all clear.
He's behind a couple of players there, one John O'Ross, and then the slip aids him, but he does so well with the finish, just to dive on the ball, knowing that the wet surface is going to allow him to slide.
The reason why the play is so good is they go right first, which means that in the backfield, Carpenter has to move to the far right-hand side as the last line of defence. Roebuck also drops under, and then because they come back, Roebuck has to shoot forward, so he can't turn as quickly. But as Ben said, the pickup from Morris was sensational. Not been so good off the tee, has he?
Very wobbly, that one.
In terms of decision making and tactics, this will give you a good idea from behind. They just get the ability to kick it through, and the acceleration to go past the cover is brilliant. And he's not a small guy. No, I think he's 6'2". He gets down really well, collects the ball and goes over.
First Premiership outing in more than 18 months. Showing great poise. Oh, interesting decision from Rowan Ackerman. Not entirely sure exactly where he was, I think. Just to reiterate, I want to highlight the oversights from the officials, but there will be Sale fans thinking about that try a little bit longer and wondering how on earth they were allowed to have that field position in the first place from the knock on, from the forward pass that never was. 24 points to 10 though, and Gloucester breaking out from their 22 through Ben Morgan, and now the boot of Chapman.
I think you did a good job there, Ali, of not highlighting it.
Just think we have to be
fair
and balanced.
Yeah, but you didn't highlight it, that's the main thing.
Ross to the deck on the 10-metre line, and Rob Dupree sends this one up again. The peppering of that Gloucester back three continues. Brilliantly taken by Roebuck. He really is one of the very best at that, certainly in this league, as Carpenter has it now for Sale. And they build again, looking for their bonus point try, and Gloucester are rewarded with a penalty, not releasing there.
He's so unlucky, Roebuck, that he just trips over the man on the floor. He'd been able to step over him, he had a clear run to the line. What a take this is, it's just too far, just dropping into the 22, but a kick's made by its chase. Eyes on the ball, and then down he goes, and he just trips over his feet.
Might want to put his tongue in when he's chasing the kick, so in the future. Really good technique, isn't it? Just been 4 or 5 of those kicks from Dupree that have only been 1 metre too far. That one was turned around by Roebuck, but had he not been there in time, it would have been a mark probably for Carmoyle at the back.
Well, it's been described by Alex Sanderson as Roebuck's superpower, that the aerial skills. He's been working really hard on the physicality, the ability to pop up in different sorts of places as well, the all-round attributes required on the wing now, of course.
Thanks, mate.
Evans stabs it through with the attempted kick pass, and Reed is underneath that. Sale infringing.
Just Beaumont in competing for the line out, fell through. For his assistant just saying that he affected the setup of the maul.
Thanks.
Too early to start to talk about bolters for the World Cup, do you think? Roebuck's got to be one of them, hasn't he? But as a bolter for the World Cup, Al?
Well, absolutely. He's firmly in Jones's mind, isn't he? I guess the only thing I would say about that is that there are so many good wingers out there at the moment. He's gone with Thockenasinger and Noel, hasn't he, for tomorrow? But Caden Murley must have been close. There's Max Malins, Johnny May back fit, Roebuck, Freeman. Take your pick.
Anthony Watson. Freeman. Who would I go with? I might go with Freeman and him, to be honest, at the minute.
Freeman and Roebuck?
Yeah.
Would you? Interesting. Out it comes from Morgan as Sasino's on the move, and 12 Trees is being upended by Curry on the 22. But good pressure here from Gloucester. Haven't enjoyed a huge amount of time in this area of the field. Little stab through. Roebuck in the backfield calls for the mark, and Gloucester have the penalty.
Just at the line-out, Gloucester, we saw on the try how their decoy lines and running different sides affects the rest of the defensive line. Just watch here, the decoy lines around the front of the line-out mean it has to be marked. There they come, they have to hold, War has to hold, he's trying his best not to get involved, but then that means they've got a drifting defence across, really strong collision in midfield, that gives them front foot ball, and quite take advantage of it.
Been good at that all season, haven't they? Just messing with defences' heads.
Yeah, and lifters where
You've got to be convincing if you're going to do it, you can't do it half-heartedly.
Santi Sasino finds his man in Clark. Profited from this range early on, of course, through Sasino. It's once again looking like a good option for Gloucester. Flirting with that touchline. Clung onto in the midfield. Chapman fires it out. Elrington has a little blast. He's dropped that, but backwards. Chapman again, looking for Ackerman. John O'Ross comes piling in. Chapman wants it, and the advance is being played as Dan Dupree struggles to move his body out of the way.
More effort.
Defensive set was really good from Sale. Right up until Dan Dupree got trapped in at the base of the ruck.
I appreciate what he's going to say, but he's got to make more effort.
Chapman realised it wasn't really going anywhere. Put his hands on the big number 8. Got the penalty, ensured that. Again, another line-out drive opportunity. Not quite where he would have wanted that to go.
I think he's bent that nicely, but in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think Lloyd Evans has forgotten his feet today.
Ben, so I totally appreciate that he's got a foot there, and if he's doing everything he can, then I've got some more leniency. If he's just lying there saying I'm being held,
these are the stats that give us an idea of just how effective Gloucester are from close range. Of course, they are, what are they there? Certainly 10, if not 12 metres out.
Not necessarily from the directly from the drive. That could be a play off the line-out maul or the line-out drive. Very, very valuable field position, particularly to Gloucester.
Okay, but it's from like within. So I'm in the middle of it, and lift it up.
A significant meeting while Ben Morgan's caught his breath and
if we get an obvious one, we'll take it. Yeah.
tried to shake off a little niggle.
Just use the end of that line, lads.
The plan is set.
Time on.
What do we reckon? 9 metres, 10 metres, 45%,
37.2%.
Thank you, Rainman.
162.
Ludlow driven back, but once again they've sort of spun out to the side here. 12-tree straightens well. On a plate for Chapman. Runners coming round the corner and dealt with, but Sale are straight offside. They go to the shorter side again. Elrington has done well. Cecino's lost it, but always with the penalty advantage, Gloucester.
Good defence from Sale.
so confrontational.
Offside in the backs there. Next one down.
The carry, I think Curry's just questioning whether it was offside, because
offside.
The attacking runner is so flat, he almost takes the ball behind him.
Just on him.
But when you're defending your line and you see this coming at you, so difficult not to go forward. It is offside. John O'Ross takes a step forward, but getting the timing right, so difficult without conceding a try.
Well, now they are within 5 metres, so they're almost at a 50% chance of try scoring here, Gloucester, statistically. What can Sale do to deny them? It's Freddie Clark in the line. Oh, they've lost the ball here. Gloucester has been hooked back by Cecino, picked up by Morris. Chapman. Once again, Andrew Jackson keeping a very tight eye on that Sale defensive line. Ackerman sent into a thicket of arms and legs. Curry bundled off the ball as he makes the tackle. Lloyd Evans enveloped by Taylor.
Keep going, well done.
A lot of hard graft here for Gloucester, but they are finding their pathway blocked for the time being, and Curry's trying to strip possession of it. Just a tiny suggestion of a knock on there. Onwards they go. Into double figures on the face front as Reeves is caught by Reed, and Sale doing really well here to drive them back. Little nudge through from Chapman. The ball is there to be won, and Moore is in for the Sharks. And Sale have regathered it after a mountain of pressure.
Exceptional defensive set from Sale.
Might not want to do it, but the crossfield kick is on to Roebuck from here. Last defender's on the post. He's in acres of space.
Stand still forwards.
71st from Rob Dupree, but he's not found touch. Finds Moyle. This is Ackerman. Reed stood up well under pressure.
Your own player's leg. Own player's leg.
4 minutes to half-time. Morgan tries to reset things for the Cherry and Whites. Chapman searching for territory. Across comes Dupree.
Stand still. Hold!
Good distance on that from Dupree. Oh, very, very close to the touchline, Lloyd Evans.
Hold it.
Dupree.
Inside.
Maybe will look for the touchline. This time he's made sure of it, and he's taken Sale back inside the Gloucester half after an awful lot of pressure, an awful lot of heat. Sale have soaked it all up.
It was huge, wasn't it? Really big line-out drive defence initially, but then even after they'd repelled that, Gloucester putting some huge carries down the middle of the field. Sale stood up to it, eventually cleared their lines, and they'll try and back that up now with line-out defence aerially to stop Gloucester playing and try and pinch the ball back.
Weather conditions worsening by the minute at the moment as Cam Jordan secures the line-out ball, and Evans is under some pressure from Curry. Aaron Reed.
Stand still, fellas, wait. Yeah, all right. Well, just make sure
Just
they've got a
looking
mark on
for
that, lads.
a little bend on that.
Thank
It's
you.
rolled into the in goal.
Get out
Lloyd
the
Evans,
tip.
where's that going? Just about
Touch,
making
yeah,
touch.
Back to where we started, I think.
Yeah. No, quick one. Yeah, where you are, thanks.
Sale win the battle, though. It's their throw this time.
Fellas, all the way out.
I've seen them
Keep going, keep
kicking
going, yeah.
it into the 22
Perfect, thanks.
from this position
Stay there.
a number of times. As Austin said, want to just drop it just outside if they're going to kick.
Duprea's ball. War. Rob Duprea. Hill bustling onwards. Duprea. Brought down by Cecino. Curry. Duprea. Carpenter. Oh. Through the challenge, and the ball kept alive, and Sam Hill is there. Gloucester having a sniff at that. Brilliantly worked by Seabrook at the breakdown. Excellent jackling. Didn't have much of a window. And Rob Duprea forced to give it a good thwack out of immediate danger.
Good kick from Lloyd off his left boot. Why won't he use half of the other ones?
Good. Don't go chasing it.
A bit of work from Tom Seabrook at that breakdown.
Bend it up. I'm up. I didn't think that. Oh, that was pretty good, but we'll see. Not too big, fellas, not too big.
Last dart here for Gloucester as we bear down on half-time. Ackerman just gets through so much work, week in, week out. Incredibly reliable. Chapman, he's given that too much, and Reed's in the backfield.
It's a shame. It's a really good option with Ackerman having won those extra metres in contact to just try and lift the ball over the top of the ruck, because you knew that any extra bodies would have been forced to come in and assist on the tackle. There wouldn't have been any support in behind, but they just got the timing slightly wrong.
Aaron Reed, happy to see the funny side of his 50p foot. I'm not sure the rest of his teammates will share that joke and a smile if they end up conceding here with the clock in the red, but ball is in Gloucester's hands now. Have they got something else left in them here in the 41st minute? Up goes Ludlow. Morgan to Cecino. Well held by Tommy Taylor. Ackerman again. In goes Curry. Has to back off. Morgan, once again, the Sharks having to really dig in on defensive detail.
Tackle now!
The ball spat out on the Sharks side, and that will take us to half-time. Once again, spooned away by Aaron Reed into the stands, and Sale will retain their 14-point advantage at half-time. 3 tries in that period. Carpenter, Taylor and Curry for the Sharks. Gloucester through Cecino and Morris. The Sharks have been under a lot of pressure though, and have done well to hold out. Half-time at the AJ Bell. Sale 24, Gloucester 10. Thank you, Craig. The face you can see on your screen is that of Bevan Rodd, drafted in at half-time in place of Ross Harrison at loosehead, and Rafi Quirk is with us as well, having replaced Gus Wall. Both of those two, of course, been with England this week and not required for the match against Argentina at Twickenham tomorrow. So Alex Sanderson keen to make sure he gets full value for his international quality, and Quirk, who was out for so long through injury, has come roaring back to form, hasn't he? So good off the bench against Leicester.
It's lazy.
Seemed like a trailing foot to some
His left
degree,
hand,
was it?
No, his left hand caught him, I think, as he runs through.
Backs into him, doesn't he? Doesn't quite see it.
Oh, yes, it's his back that hits him. Just on Rafi Quirk, I don't think he's quite ready yet. It's quite a harsh thing to say for someone who's been in the squad, but I think he's got better potential than all the other scrum halves, but I don't think he's quite there yet.
You don't think he's quite there because he's had so much time out, and that wouldn't be extraordinary.
Yeah, that won't help, obviously, in terms of his development, but he's still forcing things rather than feeling things. And his physicality enables him to force his way through a gap that isn't normally there, and that's why he's causing himself so many injuries. He's taking way too much contact for a 9.
Still only 21. Huge amount of development and growth to come, no doubt, but for the time being, behind Ben Youngs and Van Portfleet in the England pecking order as Gloucester look to work this drive.
Another good response from Sale. Highlighted that at half-time.
9, shoot.
That's better. Nice little shift off. They lose 3 of the Sale bodies.
Use your 9.
Tommy Taylor's just getting in there.
And Cecino just thought he was working his way through before the penalty went the Sharks' way, and too much chat as well, by all accounts, from Gloucester for Andrew Jackson's liking.
Andrew Jackson did say use it, which was a bit strange because it was just at the point where Cecino was breaking out. It's one of those ones where you've said something and then immediately something happens. I think that's probably a little bit harsh.
The initial drive.
It was a conversation rather than
Good
just
response from Sale, but here's where they get the shift on. They just managed to wheel it round and lose all those blue shirts. Dupree does really good to stay in there. But now it slows down.
Doesn't stop though, does it?
But he breaks out. Yeah, it's tough.
Good contest.
Taylor's ball just evading the grasp of Beaumont initially.
Come. Use that 9.
Works box kick, well measured. Oof. Big old collision in the air. Reed went up, and it's been knocked forwards in the eyes of Andrew Jackson by Gloucester. So a big net gain for the home side.
Right on it, Sale, aren't they? Gloucester need to do something just to knock them off their stride. Everything's sort of going their way at the moment.
Just have to dig into that belief that they have. They've had such a very good season to this point. Just that one defeat by 2 points away at Saracens at the end of September. 1 away at Bath and London Irish. Certainly that victory at Kingsholm against the Chiefs last Friday, they look the real deal. They look genuine contenders.
Just Hill looking to run the tight line here with Aaron Reed as the option in behind.
Here he is, Sam Hill, taking the contact, driving up to the 10-metre line. It's there for Quirk. Dupree threads it over the top to Roebuck. Plenty of Gloucester cover. Has to leave it there on account of the touchline, and Gloucester have swallowed it up through Jake Morris. Jordan into Dupree. Trying to handle this one-handed and needing a little bit of support. Here's Ackerman.
Just advantage over from the knock. No, I missed the ball too. Use that then, 9.
Looks like it's coming Sam James's way. In he comes. Plenty of ground to make up. And he's knocked that forwards in taking it behind himself. And Gloucester will have the scrum on the 10-metre line.
Just lost the flight of it in the air, didn't he? Really good.
It's a good long battle, that, I thought.
Attacking position for Gloucester now. They have to keep going hard at Sale despite the ferocity of the defence that's coming at them. Gloucester at their best when they're right on the face of the defence, playing out the back, those little tip passes.
Interesting situation this week with the arrival of Ryan Mills added to the Sharks' ranks. Just providing a little bit of extra cover in the midfield. There he is, arrived from Wasps, chatting away with Joe Simpson. But just a question over whether they can hang on to Manu Tuilangi beyond the end of this current contract. Lloyd Evans. For Roebuck, oh, he's lost that and has to gather it at the second attempt. Plenty of men around him, 12 trees is there. And Sale committing enough numbers in enough time.
Not many people in that ruck on their feet, is there?
Dupree drives the ball northwards. Evans waits. And then straightens. Oof. John Ross having none of that. Jordan. And Gloucester playing with an advantage. 12 trees. His kick is charged down.
Yeah, Shonut just hit Elrington off the ball. Curry's just stayed down for Sale. Take a lot to keep him on the floor.
I wonder if it's the same ankle that he rolled last week. He rolled his ankle, remember, last week and came off. Surprised actually started this week. Maybe it's the same one.
Gloucester threaded into the corner. He looks in... I was going to say he looks in a fair degree of pain, but then he breaks out into a smile. So maybe pain equals pleasure if you're Ben Curry.
He's got to be careful. He's got a game tomorrow for England.
So, 5 metres out, it was an excellent kick.
Last two defences here from Sale have been outstanding. Gloucester needs something.
Line out functioning really nicely. 100% so far today for Gloucester. Ludlow sets it up. And once again, this maul proving fearfully difficult to stop. Crawling forwards now. Maybe.
I think that's more. Tommy Taylor tackles the guy that's going over the line here. It's been called by the referee's assistant, but I think this is more. You watch Tommy Taylor, he actually tackles the guy that's going to go over the line. Well, just question being asked by Ludlow. But just watch on the floor when Tommy Taylor ends up down there. He's almost holding on to the ankles. There, now. That could well, Beaumont as well. Could well have been more. Get away with it, Sale. But big line out for Gloucester now, and Sale have to stay whiter than white.
Quite obviously, more of the same on its way from the Cherry and Whites. Cecino targeting Clark. And now the Puma gets his big paws on the ball yet again. Bevan Rod looking to work his way round. He'll have to break away. Cecino, oh, it's been turned over.
Stop twice.
He clearly did shout, use it. On the last one, I had sympathy with Gloucester because I felt they did break out and they went through the middle. Cecino went on his own, but that time it was definitely a regeneration of a drive, having been stopped twice. The referee called it. Completely the right decision.
He can't hear you.
Well, he's back 10 in.
Yeah, so can we get a call for use it?
I did.
Oh, you heard?
Evan Rod doing a really good job there. Just not changing his bind, but being a real nuisance to Elrington.
I mean, it's still an interesting question, though, isn't it, Ben? Because if you're Gloucester, you're thinking, well, we're just moving through the gears. Yes, slowly, but we are moving. And seeing as it's our possession, why won't you let us do that?
Because he's clearly called that, in his opinion, it stopped twice. Now, he might not be right. The first stop was before it started moving. Really good initial stop from Sale, and then it's subjective, but like anything else, like the breakdown, you've got to listen to the referee. If he says hands off, even if you think you're in a legal position, you've got to take your hands off. If he says your maul stopped, it's stopped, you've got to play away.
Just adds another layer to the coaching brief for the likes of Sanderson, for the likes of Skivington, doesn't it? Not only have you got to get that technique absolutely right, but you've got to ensure that you've got the momentum and you sustain that momentum from the off.
Absolutely. And also, you know, the listening to the ref is very, very difficult when your head's in the maul. So you need your 9 coming in and taking ownership of that.
Difficult though, isn't it, when you do a 6 and 1 line out and you haven't moved anywhere, so the 9's not actually there.
Exactly.
He can't come to the base.
Free kick this time awarded to the Sale Sharks, and Gloucester frustrated, so close to the Sale line. No doubt they've had some opportunities. In the back end of that first half, they were pounding away up the other end. In comes Moyle, chasing his own kick inside the 22, and that's gone forwards from Sam James. And Gloucester parked again in the red zone as Morgan goes to ground.
So he's over from the knock-on.
12 trees. No advantage any longer from that knock-on. Chapman this time darts it through. Bit of a collision in the backfield. Quirk and Dupree are both going for the same ball. Friendly fire.
We're just going to take a bit of
collision
time.
there.
Just double check on his head.
One of those that just cause sufficient panic close to the try line that everybody has to make sure that it's their ball. And Rafi Quirk coming off second best, seemingly.
Yeah.
Just for the moment. Morris managed to find Morgan. This is all a bit scattergun from Gloucester. And Moyle can't stay on his feet either. Recovers pretty well, and the presentation is exemplary. Better from Ackerman. Rain just seems to have eased off a little bit as Carpenter steadies himself and calls for the mark.
Good. No.
Spoke about him last week, Austin, but Joe Carpenter seems to have really slotted into that full-back role, made the shirt his own for the time being in the absence of Luke James.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of options that could play there, but you get a good run of games, you don't make any mistakes, you build on that foundation. Scored a few tries, hasn't he? Seems to be relatively solid under the high ball, strong in the tackles we've seen already today with the collision with Reeves. So yeah, it looks like a good player. Talking of which, this guy's a very good player.
Geordie Reid on for Ben Morgan. And presumably that'll mean Ackerman shifting to 8 for Gloucester, and here is Reid cleverly waiting for that to bounce.
One thing Reid does give you sort of renewed energy in the second half. His work rate's phenomenal.
It's another too long kick.
Each of those just drifting a little further than Gloucester would like recently.
I think Reid will cause a few issues for Sale at the breakdown. Even if they win the collision, he's very good at, almost as you fall through the tackle on the Gloucester side, just getting into a good body position.
Let's have a word with Alex Sanderson, Director of Rugby for the Sharks. Alex, you have a reasonably comfortable cushion, but you wouldn't feel safe at this point, would that be right?
Yeah, never safe until the whistle's gone. But they've shown they can score off minimal phases, you know, and one of these balls in this weather, it ricochets off a catch and then under the sticks again, so we've just got to be on it in every part of the kicking game, because that's obviously what they're leaning into at the moment.
What was the key messaging at half-time, Alex? We saw you animatedly talking to the half-backs as the ball is loose again inside the 22. What was the message being imparted?
A few things really, bit of a swivel in terms of what we're looking at from set piece, because the change of direction, that second, third play. Keep endeavouring attack and changing that point of focus, because that's been working well for us as well. Sharpen up the breakdown, you know, there's a couple of wide channel rucks that we've lost, so keep doing what you're doing really. It was a good half, and stick to it and paint better pictures, defensive rucks.
Alex, we're seeing Gloucester employing a lot of little kicks over the top of your defensive line to try and take away a bit of your line speed. Does that affect what you do defensively?
we've just got to be sharper on the 15s, those two guys in the backfield and maybe outside centre who are turning and burning for those kicks, and make the most of the chaos. Embrace the chaos.
Love it. Thanks for your time, Alex.
Cheers, Ben. Cheers, Al.
Embrace the chaos. It's all about the adaptability, isn't it, as Meehan comes on for Chapman at scrum half for Gloucester.
Tells you everything you need to know about Gloucester's tactics for the rest of this half. It's all going to be about kicking.
It's going to be boot-based, isn't it? Cecino launched up to the 22. And another good line cut by Ackerman. Once more, the little jab through inside the 22, trying to create confusion in Sharks' ranks.
I don't get it, Ali, do you? I mean,
it's going to be blue scrum.
You come down here with a tactic to put the ball in behind. You've tried it 9, 10, 12 times. It's not worked once. And what's the definition of insanity?
It's another injury for Curry. They're holding that lower leg again. I think he got his leg trapped underneath him, and then he got hit back over his knee.
So Curry in pain, Cecino needing attention as well.
I think Cecino was the initial ball carrier, and Curry went into the breakdown and got cleared out, but leg trapped underneath him. There's the tackle.
Makes an initial tackle.
Leg drive, and then that leg get caught.
Sore business. And he's going to be hobbling away, and there's a look of great pain and great concern on the face of Ben Curry. Let's hope for a swift return. So influential in these parts. Sam Dugdale coming on in his place.
Yeah, we'll just wait until Ben enters the field.
100th Premiership appearance today for Ben Curry. He turned 24 in just June, but that might be a couple of weeks resting up by the look of things. There's Dugdale.
It's insane to think that the Curry brothers are 24, isn't
that mad?
You know, I'm only 10 years older than them, but they just seem to have been around forever.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Let's collapse straight in.
So we've got a little bit of hit and chase by blue, a little bit of soft by red. Let's get a steady scrum, please.
Not mentioned Bevan Rod much, have we, today? But the player who's playing exceptionally well, you've got to feel a bit hard done by that. There's a couple of other loose heads that are just playing that little bit better. I mean, arguably Alice Genge is, dare you say it, maybe the best player in the world at the minute. It's a big old statement, I know, but I can't think of many people who have had such a big impact.
Well, he's hit a rich vein of form, hasn't he? Certainly, as far as loose heads go, England well stocked. Genge and Makabunapola, Bevan Rod, Joe Marler, of course, not being picked at the moment by Eddie Jones, as Sale need to shift this in a hurry. James. Dart forwards. And Miller's lost his footing.
I think that's play on.
Really James on the tidy. Geordie Reid making life interesting. And has that been kept in field? No.
It's a Gloucester ball. The ball was kicked out on the clearance by, I think, Jean-Luc Dupree.
Jack Reeves.
Let's have a look. Whether it's a slip or a trip. I think he trips himself, doesn't he? Does he not catch his own ankle?
Oh no, it's Sam James, isn't it? Not looking deliberate necessarily, just a tangle. And Sale led off the hook here by Gloucester inside the 22, not for the first time this afternoon.
When you've got a really good maul, referees tend to look a little bit more closely at whether you're setting everything else up correctly beforehand. It's an easy penalty to get Sale out of jail. I've got to say, maybe some of that, though, is down to how good Sale's line-out more defence has been, and maybe just that thought that they have to get that security at the front right.
So George Skivington deploying the troops from the bench. Gotowcev for Balmain at tight head, Davidson for Jordan at lock, and Alex Hurl on the field, replacing Tom Seabrook, recent arrival, of course, from Worcester, making his Gloucester debut this afternoon. One of those, happily, who's found work, found employment after the crushing disappointment of Worcester's demise.
Got up in front, sacked him.
Another line-out infringement, allowing Gloucester this time to profit.
Yeah, it was a good steal, and as a result, the target from a Sale perspective, Dan du Preez, just playing a stealer in the air.
It's tough.
Doesn't have to move Lewis Ludlow. Du Preez just climbing on his back.
It's a delicate dance, isn't it, up there? You've got to make sure that your challenge is meaningful, but the moment you stray, you've got to back out.
Although everyone thinks that's du Preez, he doesn't actually put that much of a hand on him. The problem is around the lift and the back lifter and how much he was taken out. As a result, the feet went up from Ludlow, and any sort of contact's going to look really bad from du Preez's point of view.
Now that is a great kick. Oof. That really was a risky one.
Right to the flag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I meant that. Look at him, like big screen.
And?
Yeah, meant that.
And?
What?
What are you looking at?
Yeah.
Put his feet back on at half-time, hasn't he?
So, once more to the tried and tested for Socino and Davidson this time. And again, Sale piling in, but then spinning around the edge. And Gloucester with an advantage.
Not the first one that's been collapsed. And similar to the last one that was, Gloucester had managed to get that snap, spin round and start heading towards the line.
Discipline down here, fellas, please, yeah? Discipline. No, it's a soft one. We'll see how bad the next one is, yeah? If there is one. Not a proper one, but it's not saying
the difficulties for Gloucester, of course, at having such a great strength in this area that all teams will have spent hours poring over the video footage of this line-out drive.
11.
It's harder and harder for them to exert this as an area of dominance, of supremacy. On comes Byron McGuigan for Aaron Reid. Onto the left wing. And patrolling that short side now as Gloucester try and conjure something. Davidson again, that's a chunkier start to the drive from the Cherry and Whites this time. Relies on Andrew Jackson to see when he's losing his patience in terms of the forward momentum. If there is any drop-off whatsoever, Gloucester are close here. Sale desperately holding out. Meehan goes in. Dugdale's done his best to disrupt, and Ackerman sizing things up here. Decides to take on du Preez. Comes off second best, but the tackle was alleged to be high. Another interesting call. Meehan for Davidson. We'll come back to that in a minute, perhaps, as Meehan feeds it out again. And onwards they go.
Too long.
Ludlow waiting. Meehan to the boots. And this time, oh, what about that? The reach, not quite there.
There we go.
Back we come. Morris wasn't too far away, but some fine defending out there.
As a result, we're going to have a look at this high tackle. Very difficult on a pick and go not to make a high tackle. You can just see the arm around the neck slightly.
We're not talking more than penalty.
It's actually a right call. When I heard it, I thought...
That's his second offence.
I thought, how do you stop a low pick and go without going around the neck? But clearly the arm had slid up. Really good spot from the referee's assistant.
Well, it came to nothing in the end, but Carpenter lively in defence there, Austin.
Yeah, good defence. No idea why Gloucester kicked it. They'd got all the way to the far side. They only had to go one more time. They would have walked over under the posts.
They won the snap at the last line out. That's what got them nearly to the line. Sale will try and hit this quicker.
Sussex good.
21st line out of the game for the Cherry and Whites. This time driven backwards by Sale. Can they reorganise? Cecino's in the middle of all of that, but so too Bevan Rodd. And Gloucester moving forward. Cecino
Bevan Rodd's
not far away.
Cecino. Now he's getting away from him.
In comes Rob Dupree. Very important intervention. He's there again, pressuring Meehan, and Gloucester having to reset. Desperate defending from the Sharks. They are putting heart and soul into this effort.
Advantage over from the knock-on by Bevan Rodd.
Geordie Reid.
Tackle now!
Clark. Meehan. Not too many to the left. More numbers beginning to assemble. Ryan Ackerman asked to perform from stationary position. Davidson, you really feel 62 minutes in that Gloucester needs something here. Evans, a little bit of indecision. Moyle is caught. Sale drawing energy from this defensive shift.
Push them out 15 metres. It's a great defensive set from the Sharks.
Yeah, and the rest. 12 trees again to the boot. The ricochet nearly landing for Hurl. It's gone forwards, and Sale again are congratulating each other quite rightly for coming up trumps when asked big, heavy, bruising questions.
Well, it's outstanding, isn't it? Just that pressure. Started with the line out. Bevan Rodd's been really good around the maul, making a nuisance of himself. Once they start losing those collisions, it just ramps up, just twists, because Sale always on the front foot, Gloucester always edging backwards a little bit. Line speed's really good. 12 trees tries to thread one through, almost gets the ricochet.
Get set up, fellas.
Huge credit, as ever, needs to go to Mike Forshaw, the man who fits together the Sale Sharks defence. They've conceded 16 tries from their 7 games ahead of today. 4, of course, in something of an aberration last weekend at the Stone Axe. But over the last few seasons, Sale's defence has been very miserly. And that's a Sale scrum penalty, and you can just feel the wind in behind Sharks. So demoralising to spend quite the amount of time that Gloucester have in the Sale 22, in and around it, and come up with comparatively so little, Ben.
Yeah, big psychological blow. Saw him in the lift on the way down. He knows that they need the points coming in. He doesn't think 3-pointers would have been enough at half-time. That's why they're hammering away at the line, but Sale just holding firm at the moment.
Keep that tempo, fellas. Yeah.
To the front, and Rodd. Lovely work between Rodd and Taylor. And this is Dugdale sliding onwards. Quirk. Harper, who's come on at tight head for the Sharks. The attempted steal is good enough. It's good enough from Rowan Ackerman.
Clear pull, didn't get the ball.
Harper caught on the ground. Amazing engine, Rowan Ackerman. He'll carry all day for you. And there are moments like that defensively, the turnovers, the tackles, absolutely priceless.
You look at those important stats: turnovers 5, penalties that they've won 12. There's 17 impact points there in a game that really should put Gloucester in the lead. But I think they've just lacked composure in this game. They've lacked composure and patience so far. Not beyond them, still 15 minutes to get back into it, to get something, but those stats normally the key indicators towards a win and to more points. It's 13 pens now actually, so it's 18 impact points.
Meehan.
It's a mile in front.
Yeah, he's
in
offside.
midfield.
Yeah, the offside line quite obviously breached, but
why? Why do that again? If you're going to do that, put the ball on the floor. The last thing you want to do is give the back three, who are already stood back there, the chance to slice it into touch.
It's a lot of that today. Slippery ball.
I know it's
nasty conditions.
But the back three are used to moving around as a pendulum, covering the backfield. It's just a nothing kick.
Kieran Knight replacing Harry Elrington. There was supposed to be Valrapava Ruskin on the bench today, having been with England in the week, but illness has prevented him from playing a part. Yeah. So Knight for Elrington, originally covering tight head Kieran Knight. Freddie Clark leaps highest. This is Socino for 12 trees. Ackerman. Cluster of defenders all around him. Ross looks to be in some pain after that impact. The Sharks have secured the ball. Sam James offering the protection. And Bevan Rod charged with setting up something just a little bit cleaner for Rafi Quirk.
That was a no-arms tackle by Gloucester, PK only.
Advantage.
The voice of Rowan Kidd, our TMO. This time the little jab forwards from Rob Dupree, and nothing forthcoming. Always with the penalty advantage.
Yeah, no arm. Thank you. Arms, just getting a number.
Once again, the rain sweeps in from the direction of the ship canal. And Rob Dupree looking for territory.
No arms tackle came.
Yes, 7 red.
I think he does try to wrap the right arm, but he just gets bounced from Bevan Rod. It's going up there. He's trying to get underneath. Very difficult for players now. Can't hit the head, so they're trying to get underneath and they get bounced down and given a no arms tackle.
So once again, going to the front of that line out, thinking that there is a metre or two to steal.
Use blue.
Quirk to the air.
His arms are down.
Pressure from Davidson. This is an interesting kick. Real tester, and Moyles lost it. Bounce back from McGuigan. Onwards from Harper to Dupree. Now then, Bevan Rod floats it over the top. Oh, nice bit of handiwork. Tip-ons and all sorts happening in terrible conditions.
Tackle now.
Carpenter sets it up for Sale. Rod, Dupree, James attacks the line nicely. Good work in the midfield. Here's McGuigan. Lovely bit of link play from Josh Beaumont in the middle. Ross.
Tackle now, release down.
Inside the 22. Sale, remember, looking for that bonus point try. But here with the penalty. Gloucester not rolling. And we're entering crunch point, aren't we? Great to see the adventure, the ambition here, Ben, despite the worsening conditions.
Just the knowledge of where McGuigan was, where he was going to come on his line without actually looking. Keep his eyes on the ball, can keep his eyes on the defender, and then throw the ball backwards to a man coming at pace. Really nice pass from Beaumont. He's had a good game, Josh Beaumont. Carried well himself, made a couple of big carries. Nice to see him back to getting back to his best.
Yeah, missed the whole of last season with knee trouble.
That's time on them.
At his best.
Lewis.
Very much a contender for an England
shot.
jersey, but just needing to string together lots and lots of game time at the moment. So with the score at 24 points to 10, the posts are opted for just to make sure that Gloucester are out of range in terms of those 2 tries, 2 converted scores to draw them level. Points hard to come by in this second period. Rob Duprier with another 3 takes their lead to 17 points with 10 minutes to play. Minutes of rugby without a point. No question, the worsening weather contributing to that. That's just about going to make the 10-metre line from Lloyd Evans. Meehan back to Evans. This is Reid. Challenged well by Hill in the end. Knight. Clark. Evans, lovely ball over. Now then, options as Hurl piles forwards for Gloucester. Tackle is made by Quirk, the ball still in Gloucester arms. Davidson, the Scotsman. Clark again on the carry. 12 trees. Delay on the ball for Reid. And again, Sale having to man up in defence. Gloucester juggling with it. Oh, I've lost it forwards.
Really good defence again from Sale. They're broken, but when they're broken, watch the reaction of Rob Duprier. He's at the top of your screen now, but he doesn't commit too early. He's buying time, treading water, waiting for the cover to get there. If he bites in too early, it's a simple 2-on-1 in the outside channel. The pass comes in, but he allows the pace of Rafi Quirk to come over, and he gives Quirk that opportunity.
Josh, he's 5. Coming as well.
Been having a few problems today with my colouring machine, Ali, but it finally got it working. So it's a really good example of what we're talking about, Sale, when they're good. And it's about working off the ball. It's not all about McGuigan, but it's about just working the ball to the outside. Doesn't matter who you are. Move forward, distribute the ball to the outside. Look what it does to defenders' shoulders. Everyone's looking in. Again, one more to the outside. 2 simple passes. There's the corner now. You've made the corner. Everyone's got to bite in. And if everyone's got to bite in and you create an extra man, you get around the outside. It's simple rugby. Sale in the first 5 weeks did that off quite a lot of phases. Not done it much in the last 2 weeks, not done it much today. But that's the first time we really saw it, and it looked good when they get it right.
Sale have replaced John O'Ross with Dom Barrow. And they've won another scrum penalty here. There's Dom Barrow.
One backwards, forward and half.
A couple of years out of the game.
Where did he go?
Well, he had a nasty injury from memory. He's appeared obviously for Leeds, for Newcastle, had a spell at Leicester, Saints.
Did he go to France for a while?
He was working in electric vehicle installation.
Well, fair play to him to coming back, because he was a hell of a talent in the early days.
Singing a Human League song there.
Which one?
2 in 1.
Well, he was part of a very bright crew that won the Junior World Cup with England back in 2013, but this is his first Premiership appearance of the season. Sharks have given him a second bite at it, and he's looking to make the most of that opportunity. Dugdale feeds it on this time to Jean-Luc Duprier. Quirk. It's going to drift out on the full. Back we go. Gloucester still in the mix, just about, but time very much against them at this point.
Right, just keep going. Set more. Yeah, just a bit more. Perfect. On your front man, then lads, out the gap.
Must be tough to get back to your fitness after so long out the game.
Come on, fellas.
Well, you'd be probably pretty well judged to gauge exactly what's necessary to do that. Imagine you can keep yourself in good nick, quite obviously, but it's a different fitness.
You can go to the gym every single day, you can go running, you can lift weights, but it's just nowhere near being the same as training every day.
Gloucester line-out continues to function really nicely. And 12 trees linking up well with Evans. Not entirely what Gloucester had planned, but Moyle is working it northwards, and it's set up there for 12 trees and onwards to Ackerman. James Harper with a good read for Sale.
Sale miles offside at that last breakdown, which is how they got that line speed.
And now space opening up. And a tap tackle doing for Reeves, but Reid and Ludlow combining, and then that final pass proving tricky. Hacked onwards, dropped on by Clark. And the try awarded.
Brilliant from Freddie Clark. Absolutely brilliant. Little bit loose with the offloading, but the endeavour's there for Gloucester. But it took cool head and good skill. Lovely tap tackle there. When looked like the break was going to be a lot more simply scored, but there's the pass that goes over the top, just gets a toe to it. Controls good and wins the race. Brilliant from Clark.
Yeah, looks all clear to me.
Well, reward for a man who's been putting it in relentlessly over the last couple of seasons. This is 28th consecutive Premiership start. He has made that place his own in the second row for Gloucester. And he's given them an outside sniff here with 5 minutes to play, certainly of getting within range of losing bonus point territory. 2 more notched by Evans. 10 points the difference. Fewer than 5 minutes remaining. Reeves with that initial bust and then everything happening for Freddie Clark. Nicely weighted chip through, and trouble for Sale with Rafi Quirk being removed. Looks like a wrist problem. And a huge disappointment for the home side, knowing that a player of his quality is looking like he might need another couple of weeks on the sidelines. Reed for Gloucester. And a penalty is Sale's.
Wow, big response from Sale. Just wonder what they're going to do here. They're obviously got that 10-point cushion. They want the bonus point. Yeah, no thoughts of extending the lead right onto the 5. Just stop it. It's a decent kick though. Bit of a discussion between the two leaders, Rob Dupree and Beaumont, about what will happen if the line-out doesn't drive.
Tom Curtis is on. And a reminder about the significance of this match for Sale. Having won the first 5 of the season, they've lost their last 2. Closing in on victory here today against Gloucester, who've been going so well, but needing to finish the job here, hopefully pocket all 5 points.
Very narrow attack if this ball comes out from Sale.
Tommy Taylor and Barrow piling in on Freddie Clark. It's a right old mess.
They will never look at that Barrow clear out, actually.
Out it comes. And the Hill holds it up for Curtis, who's caught, keeps the ball alive, and McGuigan is wrestling there with all kinds of defenders. Dupree. Cecino's going down, and that's to quite obviously deal with something significant, but it also gives Gloucester time to breathe.
Just disrupt that really nicely. Oh, jeepers.
That's a red card.
That is a red card.
That's a red card all day long. You can't do that. Swinging arm, closed fit. Oh, he doesn't quite catch him.
But he doesn't look to bind. It's a shoulder charge.
To look at. Okay. We're going to look at the clear out by Dom Barrow. Need to look at the lack of wrap on his left arm, direct into the shoulder, direct into the back.
Although he doesn't swing the arm, he swings the shoulder into the back of the head. He's going to go here. Nothing else than a red card.
Though this angle though, Ben, I'm not sure if he hits his head. Does he hit his back? I think he doesn't. I'm not sure he hits his head.
More angle coming.
Yeah. This is probably the best one. Where does he hit him?
Yeah,
no, that's fine. It's not fine.
Yeah,
it's a penalty only for me. He hits his head. It's a 100% red card.
19.
Yeah, it's yellow for Barrow, and the fact that he landed the blow on the back rather than the head accounts for the colour, but you just can't go into rucks like that.
Game's changed since he played it, obviously.
Well, got a few more cameras knocking around these days as well, so There's nowhere to go in that respect.
But it's weird, you know, the good job that we have got a few more cameras, because the one from this side looked like it hit him on the head, which is a 100% red card. The last angle, which for me was the best one, looked like it was just a penalty. But, you know, he gets a yellow card in the end.
Regardless of where it landed, it was reckless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And unnecessary.
So that's good.
Ackerman for Gloucester.
Yeah.
And the line out has been an excellent weapon for them today. Can they get back to within losing bonus point territory? 90 seconds to play. 12 trees slammed in the tackle. Dugdale looking to affect the rip as well. It's still Gloucester ball.
Use that then, Red.
Long way to go here for the Cherry and Whites. Meehan to the air. Lost in the air by McGuigan. And touch is found. And they'll have another crack at it, Gloucester, from just inside the Sale half. Time for your player of the match, Ben.
It's a tough one, I think, this week, because everyone for Sale's played pretty well, particularly in that forward pack. I think Dan Dupree has had his usual strong game and influence on things. I think Rob Dupree has been really good defensively, but also in how he's controlled the game. But for me, Josh Beaumont, his performance in the first half was absolutely outstanding. He's been good in the line out, good around the park. He's our Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
Well, Gloucester have a penalty here with Jean-Luc Dupree coming in at the side, so they have an option. Gloucester, they're playing away through 12 trees and Clark, and Meehan again buzzing into position. Evans. Sale seemingly goading them into having a little dart in that 15-metre channel. Twelve trees. Reeves.
Pen's been asked for. Number 4 side.
Gonna go all the way back. This is quite obviously a very, very testing kick.
I think you go to the corner, don't you? Because a try could give you 2 points as opposed to 1.
It's a big call, isn't it? Definitely the right call to ask for the penalty. Because with the Glock in the red, you don't want to risk losing the advantage.
I'm not being funny. Lloyd Evans has hardly been Johnny Wilkinson this afternoon, has he?
How brave will he be from here?
That's a reasonable kick.
That'll do for tap. They are in position with the clock deep in the red to do something here. 2 bonus points on the line, potentially. Currently, they are empty-handed. Henry Walker, replacement hooker for Gloucester. Up goes Davidson. The drive going sideways, but also forwards, inexorably, and Sale having a hard time here. Bevan Rod doing battle with Ruan Ackerman. Meehan looking for it. Geordie Reid it is who feeds it out and then gathers it himself, and the ball is loose. It's gone forwards and hacked away by Dupree, and time is up for Gloucester.
There's no penalty advantage at all.
Empty-handed from the AJ Bell. A defensive effort from the Sharks that has seen them through. They scored 3 good tries in that opening irks and it niggles.
Yeah, it does. And having had such a good start to the season, to have not been able to put the last couple of weeks right would have been a big loss to them. They'll still probably be slightly annoyed that in a season where they're not perhaps losing quite as many as some to international rugby, they can't take full advantage, but they'll be delighted. And as Alex Anderson said before the game, a couple of days off maybe, and refresh the batteries, recharge, ready for the next game.
Well, they've stopped the rot. That's the main thing. 2 defeats in the last couple of weeks, but today a victory over Gloucester. And our man of the match, Josh Beaumont, is with Babes.
He is indeed. I'll just ask Gary Brabender from Gallagher to present him with his medal. There you go, just whack it over that big old suite. There we go, well done, congratulations Josh, well done indeed. Back to winning ways from the Shell Sharks. That was the ultimate, wasn't it? Doesn't matter how you did it, you needed that win today.
That's what we said, especially with the weather coming in. We used to up here, and yeah, after 2 disappointing weeks, we knew we just had to front up and do what we could just to win the game, and that's what we did. Under huge amounts of pressure in that second half, and fair play to everyone, the lads, they really dug in there at the end.
You're getting some miles on the clock this season. It's good to see you getting games back to back now.
I know, well, I've had enough time out, so I'll probably overdue some, but yeah, it's great after a couple of long-term injuries to get back out here with the lads and yeah, getting a win as well.
Just give people an idea, because Ali Eakin in commentary said that you've been out for so long with knee injuries and it's been such a tough time. Just give us an idea of what you've had to go through.
Yeah, obviously, you know, I've had two knee operations last 3 years, best part of 2 years out, so a lot of long hours in the gym, a lot of boredom, but you know, it's worth it for wins like this today. That was always the end goal, to get back out here. Still a few miles still left in me, so yeah, just delighted to get a win today.
Brilliant to see you back. Now you're up against the Gloucester team. They were missing a lot of players, as are, of course, the Shell Sharks. Successful teams, surrender players to international duties. They pushed you hard today.
Yeah, they did. I think they've got most more meters in the comp, so you know, we knew it was going to be a huge challenge as a forward pack to stop their maul, apart from the one in the first half. But we did an outstanding job of doing that, and yeah, I think we've earned a couple of beers of forward pack tonight.
I think you can have several beers tonight, because the Gloucester driving maul is such a potent weapon for them. They got it going at times today, but you did nullify it.
Yeah, definitely. We just knew, you know, after that first one, there was a bit of a wake-up call. We knew we just had to stay in there, you know, keep pushing until either the ball's dead or the whistle goes. So that was the plan all day.
And just in case you're wondering how many beers you can have, can I just remind you, you've got the next weekend off, so that might affect. I guess you're feeling you need a weekend off.
Yeah, probably. I think, as I said, well deserved.
Well done. Outstanding work today. Congratulations.